So my name is Adam, Turkington, while I'm waiting for this. Christine asked me to talk. I'm not a designer, I'm not even an artist. I run I'm a freelance kind of event manager, arts worker. Most well known for Culture Night is my biggest contract, well known. But I also run a business called Seedhead Arts. And yeah, you can look us up and shit. We do lots of different things. But one of the things that we do a lot of is street art. And we run all of the street art that you see coming up on Culture Night. That's all run by my separate business called Seedhead Arts. It's a separate event called Hit the North. But what I'm just gonna, like, in terms of the brief here, I just told Christine what I was going to talk. I hope it's kind of useful. What I'm interested in is how aesthetics affect how we interact with the city and what this says about the sort of city that we live in and how we respond and the importance of just very simple kind of things. And street art's cheap as well. It's much cheaper than big public art pieces. Okay, so the reason I start with this is anybody here grew up in Belfast? A lot of you, I guess. Anybody grew up in the East? Long time ago, when I was growing up in the East, where Conswater is now, there was a big wall called, and it was the Rope Works. And literally, it was a massive, big red wall that ran round where Conswater is now. And whenever, you know, when you're a kid and you go to, like, somewhere 50 or 60 or 100 miles away in the car, and you're like sitting in the back and it's late and you're tired, and you see a marker and you think, oh God, we're nearly home. Do you know what I mean? So like for me, this red wall at Conswater, the Rope Works, that was my marker. I knew that when we hit that wall, I was like, oh God, we're nearly home. We're at the bottom of the New Norris Road, okay? So that's kind of the beginning for me of looking at walls. Now, I now have kids, right? And they're 7, 11, and 14, as of a couple of days ago. And their markers are this, okay? That's what they see in the Newton Arts Road when they're coming up the Newton Arts Road. That's how they know that they're nearly home, okay? Yay! Now, this upsets me, to be honest. And I'm not going to get into the politics of how it gets there or any of that shit. But this is the genesis of why I'm interested in walls and what's on walls. This is the one on the other side, obviously. This is like your brackets when you're going up the Newton Arts Road. Anyway, right. So this is a piece of street art in Dublin. Is anybody aware of this? Anybody seen this before? No. This is by an artist called Macer. And he does, if anybody remembers before Conor Harrington's piece on the side of the black box, there was a couple of hands that were like that, and it said Urban Lover. That was him. I've been trying to get him back ever since Sean Kelly fucking painted over that one. But anyway, the main thing is that this is his, right? And this is like translated from Irish, I believe it was the last text that Seamus Heaney sent to his wife before he died. Okay, and the sentiment is really simple. It's not a complicated font. There's no illustration. It's literally just don't be afraid. And this is my favorite piece of street art in the world, by the way, because I think it's amazing, and I think it demonstrates the power. And I think if you pass this on your commute every day, I think your life would be better than it is if you aren't passing it. I think that every day when you pass this and you had a giant gable 3-story high wall saying, don't be afraid, I believe that your life would be better. I think that you would have a different approach. Incrementally, like you wouldn't literally be skipping through the tulips every day, but incrementally every day there'd be a slight, to coin the unionists, chipping away at your shitness. So my equivalent of that in this city was this mural. Whenever I used to go past this at the bottom of the Newton Arts Road, and I don't know how much you all, I have no idea what cultural reference points or how old you are, but when John Peel died like 11 years ago now, I don't know if anybody remembers, like it kind of, I mean, like pre all the kind of stuff, Like, it was really it affected me in a really deep way. Probably more, only Bill Hicks, I suppose, was the only other celebrity that died that affected me in the same way. I really missed him. He seemed to go too young. He seemed really important. I never really listened to his radio shows that often, but I was just happy that he was there. I thought it was important that if I wanted to, he was there, and he was obviously like the last of his kind in a lot of ways. And it really deeply affected me when he died. And the day after he died, I was driving past where this mural was, and it had appeared overnight. So 2 dudes had gone, or 1 maybe, but 2 I think, have gone down on the night that he died and done this piece, this sort of dedication, this mural, and it's about teenage dreams. And this is what you see before you get to the murals that were the brackets at the start. And this made me smile every single time I went past it. This was my Don't Be Afraid. And we think so little of it in terms of city planning, and so little of it in terms of like just DSD, understanding what makes people work and what makes cities work for people and how people engage with walls and space and aesthetic and art, that they just sent out a general directive saying paint over graffiti, and some dick just painted over it, right? And it was gone like that in a moment. And City Council's graffiti team, they knew, because they hadn't painted over it for 10 years. But somebody at DSD didn't do their job, and suddenly it's gone. And that doesn't happen with the guys in the balaclavas, right? Nobody makes that mistake. Yeah? So this is what we get when we get official murals. This is a re-imaging mural. This was to cover over a paramilitary mural on the Shankill Road. And it's about, it pays all this stuff to, it's just boring, right? I'm not gonna, like, I don't think anybody walks past this and goes, God, my life's a bit better after seeing that. Fucking Ulster Scots blood. Awesome. Okay, maybe not. And you compare that with that, and obviously, yes. So the re-imaging of this is this. So, I mean, look, this was done by the same artists, so you have to respect it in a certain way, but the kind of fuck you is gone out of it. But are you allowed to swear? Is that okay? Have other people have sworn? I can't. So, like, the fuck you is gone. It's not about, like, the whole underground culture of it is, you know, so it's not just about what it looks like, it's about the context and the baggage and all the reasons why it's there. And now it's paid for by government, and it has like a launch with like the Lord Mayor shaking hands with like Terry Hooley, and it's like fucking in the front page, and you're like, this isn't what I felt good about. This wasn't the like, you know, when you, and the reason why the old one felt so good was because it was juxtaposed with the ones that really shouldn't be there if the politicians had the balls to do their fucking job. And anyway, right, okay. So this is, again, one of the first murals we did in Seed Head Arts was this piece in Conswater. Anybody seen this piece? No? So this, again, is what my kids see when they're going away from my house. It would be better if it's the other way around, but this is what we're doing to try and change the way people engage with their space and try and like, I totally shit the bed when we got this wall to do this. Like, I was like, wow, we're going to get this wall. And we brought an artist called Hicks over, and she worked with a local artist. I'm just going to flick through a few quick ones. This is Connor Harrington's. I don't need it. Like, the story that I've heard from people, I had a guy tell me he'd been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he walked around, he was like in pieces, and he was walking around the Cathedral Quarter, and he came around the corner, and he saw this piece for the first time, and he just thought, well, everything's going to be okay, you know. And that's the sort of transformative work. And I'll tell you what, Sean Kelly will have paid about £200 or £300 for this, you know, plus materials and a cherry picker. And his pieces are now selling for about 10 grand. Okay, so it's not expensive if you let artists do what they want. This is on the side of the Sunflower. This is one of the Hit the North ones we did. This is a piece that we got. Actually worked with DSD. DSD were going to paint over all the graffiti that we'd done for 3 years in the North Street area, tidy it up just like they did with the Teenage Dreams one. So I found out about this early and went, don't spend that money on wiping out the graffiti that's there. Give us some of that money to spend on some new graffiti. So this is like on the side of the arcade, which obviously burned down. Was burnt down, I think is a better way to put it. And this is a phoenix. and it's made out of buildings of Belfast. So I'll just, like you can see, this is City Hall, this is Albert Clock, the Mac, the Waterfront, Stormont, you can get St Anne's. So this is like about built heritage. This is a message to the developers, like a fuck you, basically, like that our built heritage will come up from your flames, even if you, you know. And he kind of let us do this because he had to, because DSD told him they were going to fine him if he didn't. So you know, you can send messages, and there's the piece on the other side, which is not in the slideshow, is the woman with all the animals in front of the chute, and that was our dedication to the pets that all died, and they all burnt alive, basically, because there was a pet shop in there. So we wanted to do something for that. This is around the corner. This is just there. This is just over. Sorry. This is just over. This is, these are the two guys I really want to bring to Belfast. This is ours, and this is ROA. So, like, there's just some random thoughts, basically, about why I think street art's important, and why design is, like, you know, like, this is Design Week, so I'm trying to give it that spin, even though I don't really know what I'm talking about. But like, what we do with street art and what we bring to this city, it's cheap. We have to fight very hard to do it. We don't get the help of any government money at all, virtually, and it nearly kills me. But I do it because I think it's worth it. And all the businesses get it, funny enough. All the kind of people who aren't government agencies kind of get it, most of them. There's one guy down there, we'll not talk about him. But anyway, any questions? I think that's me. Was that 10 minutes?